Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. As you can see here on the screen today, we are going to be talking about on-demand writing, and we're specifically going to focus on the beginning of your on-demand and the end of your on-demand, the introduction paragraph and the conclusion paragraphs. In this video today, we are going to go over an example of each of those so that when it's time to write your introduction and conclusion, you're going to know exactly what you need to do. Before we get started, as always, we want to make sure we talk about our learning target and our success criteria. This is what we want you to be able to do by the end of this unit to make sure that you are successful. So let's look at the success criteria together. It says, I will be successful when I can write an argumentative on demand that clearly states my opinion of a topic at a level of proficiency. So we are focusing on argumentative writing right now. Remember, that is when we're going to give you a debatable topic and you're going to have to choose one side of the debate and convince us that your opinion is the best opinion. Okay, let's talk about introduction paragraphs first. Remember, the introduction is the very first paragraph of your on-demand. In your introduction, you're going to have three things. You're going to start with a hook, then you're going to give some background information, and then you're going to end your introduction with your thesis statement. Let's talk about the hook first. If you've ever been fishing, you know that hooks are super important because it's what you use to catch a fish. When you write, it's kind of like the same thing, but your hook is what you use to catch your reader's attention. There are different types of hooks that you can use, but some that we like are asking a rhetorical question. So starting your essay by asking a question that is just meant to get your audience to start thinking about the topic. Or you could also use a surprising quote or a fact from one of the articles that you're given. After you catch your reader's attention with your hook, the next thing you're going to do is give some background information. And you actually, if you do the pre-writing beforehand where you create your pass, you'll already have your background information written out. But basically what it is it's just you explaining to your audience why you're writing. After you give your background information, the last thing in your introduction paragraph is your thesis statement. The thesis statement is one of the most important parts of your entire paper. Your thesis statement states your opinion on the topic, and what you want to remember is it's always going to have your three main ideas that support your argument. And I like to think about it this way. If you've ever seen a house that has a bad foundation, you might notice that the house is leaning one way or the other, or it could even cause the entire house to collapse. Same thing with your thesis statement. If you have a really strong, solid foundation of a thesis statement, then you're going to have a strong paper. But if your thesis statement is weak, if it has cracks in it, your paper is not going to be as strong as it could be. So before we look at our example introduction paragraph, let's take a look at this prompt. This might sound familiar because we have seen this prompt before at the very beginning of the school year when we wrote our first on-demand while we were on NTI. Here's what it says. Your friend is having a party this weekend and must decide on what sort of food to serve his guests. Everyone has their own opinion of the perfect party snack. What's yours? Write a letter to your friend telling them about your idea of the perfect party snack. Your letter should persuade your friend to serve this snack at his party. Be sure to include lots of details and examples to support your argument. If I were going to write an on-demand from that prompt, this is what my introduction paragraph might look like. I start with, Dear Friend, and the reason that I started with that is because the prompt asked me to write a letter. But remember, if it does not ask you to write a letter, then you shouldn't have dear and then a person's name at the beginning. What's round and sweet and has sprinkles all over? That's right, it's a donut. There are a lot of opinions out there about the best snack food for a party, but donuts are by far the best and would be the wisest choice for your party. Donuts are the perfect party snack because they are inexpensive, they can be customized for everyone's taste buds, and they are easy to eat. Let's break this down and talk about what the hook is, what the background information is, and what the thesis statement was. Remember, we start with the hook, and the job of the hook is to grab the reader's attention. And I did that by asking a question. What's round and sweet and has sprinkles all over? That's right, it's a donut. What I want is my audience to be thinking, what is round and sweet and has sprinkles all over? Before they even read, I want them to be interested in what I'm writing about. After my hook, I give some background information, so I explain why I am writing about donuts. It says there are a lot of opinions out there about the best snack food for a party, but donuts are by far the best and would be the wisest choice for your party. Then I end my introduction with my thesis statement. Remember, the thesis statement is going to have the 3 reasons why I think donuts are the best. So here's what I put. Donuts are the perfect party snack because, here's my first reason, they are inexpensive. My second reason is they can be customized for everyone's taste buds. And then my third reason, they're easy to eat. Before we move on, I have a couple of questions that I want you to answer about introduction paragraphs. What should go at the very beginning of your writing piece? So at the very beginning of your introduction, what should you have? Hook, background knowledge, or thesis? How many ideas should be listed in your thesis statement? So how many things should you have in your thesis statement to support your argument? Is it 1, 2, or 3? Which part of your introduction paragraph explains why you are writing your piece? Is it the hook, the background knowledge, or the thesis statement? Now let's talk about the very end of your on-demand writing piece, the conclusion. And you're going to notice that the introduction and the conclusion are actually very similar. In your conclusion, you're going to have 3 things. You're going to start with a transition. So something to kind of let your audience know that you are wrapping things up. And my favorite way to end my on-demand is with the transition in conclusion. And then after that transition, you're going to restate your thesis. So that exact same thesis statement that you had at the beginning of your piece, you're going to say it again at the end of your piece. And remember, you'll have your 3 reasons again. At the very end, you're going to end with a concluding statement, so you want to leave your audience with something to think about. And a great way to do this would be by asking a question, but you don't want to use the same question that you used as your hook in the beginning. This should be a different question that kind of ends everything and makes your audience think about what you've written about. So let's look at an example. In conclusion, donuts are the perfect party snack because they are inexpensive, they can be customized for everyone's taste buds, and they are easy to eat. They are a snack that everyone will enjoy and are sure to make your party a success. Don't you agree that donuts are your best option? Let's talk about what we have here. I started with a transition. The best one to use, in my opinion, is in conclusion. Then I restated my thesis. So again, this is the exact same thesis statement that I had in my introduction paragraph. Donuts are the perfect party snack because they are inexpensive, they can be customized for everyone's taste buds, and they are easy to eat. So don't forget, I have those 3 main reasons again listed in my conclusion paragraph. Now I have to have a concluding statement, so something to round everything out, bring my piece to a close, but also leave my audience thinking. They are a snack that everyone will enjoy and are sure to make your party a success. Don't you agree that donuts are your best option? So remember, it's okay to end with a question, but it should not be the same question that you start your piece with. Couple of questions about the conclusion paragraph. How should you begin your conclusion paragraph? Should it be with a transition in conclusion, with your restated thesis, or with a concluding statement? And how should you end your concluding paragraph? With a transition, with your restated thesis, or with a concluding statement? All right, guys and girls, that is going to do it for our lesson today. Hopefully this was a good refresher on what needs to go in the introduction and the conclusion paragraphs of your on-demand. The next time, or in the very near future when we're in class together, we will be working on these, so we will see you all then.